Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Filmation Spotlight. Today, we are taking a trip back to 1968, a time of peace, love, flower power, and the cheapest animation you have ever seen. That's right, today on Filmation Spotlight, we're talking about the adventures of Batman, and quite unexpectedly, the new adventures of Batman, because we just can't get on the same page. But Batman is like ice cream. If you've had one brand, you've pretty much had them all, especially if that brand is Filmation. Filmation, the people who brought you.
Excuse me, but before you go on, I'd like to defend myself. It's
Please
not
do.
my fault I can't follow instructions.
Yes, it is. But moving on. Yes, it was. I mean, it's not like it was written down or anything. Oh, no, wait.
Not
It
at all.
was written down. It was written down by
It
my
was
hand.
so very clearly watched the 1967 version. Again, my stupidity is not my fault because I can't follow instructions.
Yeah, it's the paint chip's fault.
Shit.
The Adventures of Batman. The show that dared to ask, what if we made Batman, but without the budget, the logic, or the ability for characters to blink? Now, with the success of the live action Batman series with Adam West, DC and CBS wanted a slice of that Saturday morning pie, and who better to bake it than Filmation, the masters of doing nothing more with less, and sometimes with less than less. These are the same geniuses who could reuse a single running animation so many times you would think that Batman was stuck on an invisible treadmill. Now, the Adventures of Batman originally aired as part of the Batman Superman Hour on CBS in 1968 because apparently Superman needed a sidekick to make himself look competent. Filmation produced 34 5-minute shorts featuring Batman, Robin, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and an array of villains who looked like that they were drawn during a small earthquake. Now, seriously, the Joker's face looks like he's being electrocuted by his own joy buzzer, and I have a fun observation I'm going to make about that later. Batman himself was voiced by Olin Soul, a man whose voice was so calm and wholesome that you could spread it on toast. He went on to reprise his role in Super Friends, proving that once you sound like a dad who irons his cape, you're in it for life. Robin was voiced by the one and only Casey Kasem, better known as the voice of Shaggy from Scooby Doo and America's Top 40 radio host. The man who went from saying,
Legend.
"Holy smokes, Batman," to coming in at number one, it's the Bee Gees. That's an impressive range, really. Alfred was voiced by Alan Melvin. You might remember him as Sam the Butcher from the Brady Bunch, which means that Alfred
Wow.
canonically served meat to Alice, and you are welcome for that mental image. The Adventures of Batman was the first animated show to feature the likes of Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler. Unfortunately, you might not notice because every single frame looks like it was drawn by someone who forgot what a cat, a bird, and a question mark looked like. The animation budget was so low that Gotham City apparently consisted of one alley, one rooftop, and a sky that was permanently yellow. Either that or Gotham had a very serious pollution problem. And the sound effects. Every punch, kick, and fall used the same thwomp noise, a sound that can best be described as someone hitting a pillow with another pillow. Batman's utility belt could do absolutely everything. Cut steel, produce rope, defy physics, and probably order takeout if he needed it to. It was basically the Amazon Prime of crime fighting accessories. And for a guy who calls himself the world's greatest detective, Batman solved most crimes by guessing until the plot gave up. Half the time, he'd say something like, "Robin, I suspect the Joker's behind this." And of course, he'd be right because who else was it going to be? Kite Man wasn't existing yet. To Filmation's credit, though, they really learned their own limitations. They might not have had fluid animation, but they had style, they had color, and they had a theme song that seriously slapped. Seriously, if that theme song does not make you want to run around your room yelling to the Batmobile, you might want to check your pulse. But despite the questionable quality, The Adventures of Batman was a hit. Kids loved it. It proved that there was a real appetite for animated superhero adventures, and it laid out the groundwork for Super Friends, Batman the Animated Series, and every Saturday morning cartoon with a cape and a catchphrase that came after. In short, The Adventures of Batman walked awkwardly using recycled footage so that modern cartoons could run. It is charming, it is cheesy, and it's an absolute time capsule of late 60s animation. So the next time you complain about a modern cartoon cutting corners, remember, Filmation did it first and somehow did it worse. Because at the end of the day, this was Batman fighting crime in a world where every street looked the same, every sound effect came from the same tape, and every villain looked like they were drawn by a different person blindfolded. And yet, it's fun. Because no matter how clunky, cheap, or repetitive it was, the adventures of Batman still captured that old school charm that made Filmation Filmation. So here's to Olin Soul, Casey Kasem, and everyone else who made this strange, wonderful relic of animation historically possible. The voice acting was great, the music was fun, and the animation was there. And that is what makes it all beautiful. And
Oh,
then
that's awesome.
Jace ruined it by doing Batman 7.
But okay, I'll do my version of what you've just done here. Now,
You're
because I
gonna
didn't follow instructions, I
this,
skipped a
this is the
decade.
Filmation version of what I just did. There you go.
Yeah,
Continue.
so in 1977, they decided to take another crack at this, Jason, with the New Adventures of Batman, which was produced concurrently with Super Friends. So we had competing versions of Batman at this time on a Saturday morning. You could watch part of the Super Friends crew done by Hanna-Barbera, or you could watch this version with Filmation. Now, why would you watch this version rather than Super Friends? Because this version, Jace, had Batman and Robin doing the voice. We had Adam West and Burt Ward reprising their roles. And boy, does it make a difference in this series. It does feel like you're watching a spin-off series of the original Batman show. Now, yes, the animation is better. It should be. It's 10 years later. But I have a feeling, Jay, some of those backgrounds came straight from the 1967 version. Now,
So did some of the animation cycles.
the big thing about this is they were clearly threatened or influenced or inspired by the Hanna-Barbera version because they had to cutesy this one up by expanding on the Bat family. Because generally the whole Bat family makes an appearance in this version. But most notably and most annoyingly, it's Bat-Mite. The Bat-Mite that we all remember as kids, a little purple sucker about this big, is nothing but the most annoying animated character ever, who does nothing in these episodes except cause a problem. He never helps Batman or Robin. He never finds a clue. He never captures anyone. All he does is get in the effing way, to be honest with you. And he's not even nice about it. He's like I think Orko was inspired by him, except they went, let's make Orko useful and likable, and we'll have him in there. Bat-Mite is absolutely horrible. But the rest of it, and the couple episodes I watched were very Joker focused. And it's unfortunate we didn't get the Batman villain voices in this. This is new voiceovers for it. But wow, every time we hear Adam West and Burt Ward interacting, it makes this animated show, it just elevates it a bit more than what I would have expected, just purely based on the comfort you feel hearing their voices, their iterations, because they play Batman and Robin just like they would have in the animated. But I think this version was an attempt to really expand upon the Bat family. However, it got 13 episodes before they cut its throat pretty evidently, because you know what kids like more than Batman? Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman all together, hanging out in the Hall of Justice, and maybe watching the Wonder Twins activate.
Well, you also have to understand that whenever Super Friends became Challenge of the Super Friends, Adam West reprised his role on that show. So don't feel bad for Adam. He did
he did all right in the end. He did all right, and he became mayor, so it was good.
Yes, he and Grown Up Chicken Little, but we don't talk about.
No, look, I honestly, I dug this. I was coming in to defend a particular series because I thought, for its time, it showed definite evolution in the Filmation model, but it also definitely reminded you of their strategy of animation with limited animation. You know what I mean? Like, we still have scenes that go on for 3 minutes where no character actually moves except their mouth.
Well, that's just Saturday
Filmation.
morning animation. That's what it is. If Filmation were not the only people doing it, I mean, you can look across the street at Super Friends. They're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Um, so there is something that happens in the Adventures of Batman. You know, the one we were supposed to be talking.
Both watch it. Yep.
Yeah.
Not
But
my
there was
fault.
something that happens in that episode that I genuinely thought was the funniest thing ever. So there's this security guard, and he's at this chemical science
Mm,
place. I don't even know what it is, but he's
mm.
standing there, you know, doing at the security gate where they let the cars in, and this car comes up out of the fog. It rolls up. The Joker is in the driver's seat. The car is bright yellow. It has the Joker's face on the front. The tires are like purple. The top of the car is red, and there are
It's on
two
brand.
yeah, there are two henchmen in the back seat dressed as clowns, and there's a giant J on the side of the car. He pulls up right next to the security guy, hands the security guy a card. The security guy looks at the card. It's like a playing card, and it's got the Joker. And the security guard looks. He goes, "It's the Joker."
You know, Filmation had to make limited animation, but I think the writing was also in limited writing.
Oh my God! It's the Joker.
Look, it's yeah, thank God for these series though, because these series kept Batman alive in the zeitgeist when it wasn't even being that popular in the comic books at that period, right? The 70s were not kind to Batman in comic book form.
No, we had the X-Men. Why did we need?
So yeah, so thank God we had these versions to grow up through, because yes, we look at them and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe they fed that to us and we ate it up like it was delicious cereal." But we did. We liked it at the time. And even though we don't like it now, all that mattered was.
You speak for yourself. Don't you put words in my mouth.
No, I think I'm a little bit critical in the animation because I just wish it was more full form 24, but they couldn't do it. And if they didn't do it that way, it was actually not financially viable to produce animated television. So it wasn't even a choice. They had to do it. But by the new adventures, you could see some of their tricks starting to come through too. Where most famously know He-Man of special human moves like a run or a leap or a jump that they've rotoscoped. So we start seeing that slowly coming in, which I thought was kind of clever and cool. What's the interesting thing though, Jason? I think what else keeps it alive is they don't make many of these things, do they? They do
really
your
don't.
one series, and they're like, we're done. We've made our money. We've adhered to the contract. We're out of here. I think they're smart enough to realize that they're only going to get away with this type of stuff for so many episodes before they check out.
Now, if they were making the action figures themselves, as they did with Masters of the Universe, they were going to keep that stuff going for hundreds of episodes.
Well, yeah, that's different then. We got to sell some toys here.
I ate them up. I did know in the few things that I have seen about Batman, the new adventures of Batman, because I follow directions. But in the few things that I did see about it, I noticed that they reused music from the Star Trek animated series.
See, I didn't really pick up on that, but I'm not surprised you picked up on that, being a connoisseur of things all Trek.
Yes, a connoisseur. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. I thought it was really good. It's definitely aimed for a lower age bracket than me, but I've always been emotionally immature, so I enjoy it.
You know what? As a kid, I probably was so clearly I can't follow instructions or really comprehend things at this point. Can you imagine me as a kid? I would have never been aware that the new adventures or the adventures of Batman weren't made by the same people who made Super Friends. I think as a kid, I just thought it came from the whole same universe. Like there wasn't any distinction between them.
It's
at that point in my development.
That you say that because there for a while, Cartoon Network packaged these episodes together with Hanna-Barbera Super Friends, and they called them the Lost Episodes. Because I guess they just didn't get the syndication like the Hanna-Barbera episodes did. And so they would
Yeah.
have these episodes of Batman and Superman kind of interspersed in, and rather dishonestly, I think, kind of presented it as part of the same show.
Ah, there you
Now,
go.
I guess Warner Brothers owned it all by then, so they didn't care.
Yeah. Well, clearly they were just backing in my underdeveloped skills of recognizing what is not connected. So they just exploited my stupidity, Jason, like you do here weekly.
Well, it's
And
so
that's why I
easy.
didn't follow instructions.
It's so easy. Well,
It's,
I will make sure that I text you, email you, and send you more written
he'll be
instructions
sending
so
me
you can screw those up
screenshots.
as well.
Yeah, and you know, he's very nice here on screen, but I assume there might be a few expletives. Watch this beep 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 episode. You beep beep beep.
Oh, I am not mean.
No,
I'm
he
very
literally types
condescending.
beep beep beep. He just puts
Yes,
B
it's
E E
bleep, bleep,
P.
bleep, bleep, bleep. No, I'm
Yeah,
so
it's so
this
offensive.
is our schedule. We have a schedule, and it's
You're really exposing me
yeah,
now.
yeah. So that's it. And I just want to show. I'm sorry, I'm on 2026 because I'm just that far ahead. And right here, I just want to show. Where is you? There you are. The Adventures of
Yes,
Batman.
Batman.
Yes, and everybody just saw my schedule and said, "Return to Oz." Yes, we're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
Return
Like that's what's going on. That's the real truth. I'm so traumatic about having to watch that. I just can't make sense of anything. I really can't.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know
scary.
what? It worked out for the best, Jace. We got to cover two great filmation shows. And I think we would both agree here. Both these versions of Batman are better than what we've seen recent. Besides, obviously, the iconic Fat Albert, which lives in its own special plateau in the heavenly annals of animation. This is a good filmation. These were both pretty decent filmation cartoons.
Yes, I agree. I think that I think it's. I don't want to say it's high quality, but it's definitely Batman, and it's fun.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely
it's
not as bad as what we have seen.
no, not by a long shot. Although
Not Journey to the Center of the Earth, which was
we have got some stuff coming though. Shall I tell you
nice.
what's coming up next? Because
Please
if
talk to
there's a
me.
show, if there's an episode of Filmation Spotlight that will send both of us on an express elevator straight to hell,
Yeah.
it's going to be the next one. And
Okay, let's do it.
all I can say is enjoy the ride. Because did you know that Filmation produced a religious special about the birth of Jesus?
Oh no.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
No, right. What is it?
It's called His Mother Marveled. And we are going to be covering that on a
Okay.
Christmas edition, a Festivus, a Christmahansa Kwanzaa episode of Filmation Spotlight when you see us
Beautiful.
next. And then right after that, straight to hell, both of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. What's the show?
But before we do take that trip to someplace hot and humid that is not Florida, please consider becoming a YouTube channel member. You can also become a YouTube, not a YouTube. You can become there you go, Patreon. I knew it was something. Either way, you get videos early and you get Battle Cat dancing awkwardly. It all starts for just $5 a month, and you too can become cool like us, or at least like me. No,
Yeah.
because you guys
I
can follow directions.
yeah.
You guys see those directions on screen, and
I
you're
thought
like,
I was supposed to be on a
"God,
totally different podcast right now.
I really kind of wish you were, to be honest."